We're back with more words of wisdom from America's favorite child advocate. Bullhorn Betty is on a new case, and it's a very tragic case, one that involves horrendous crimes committed towards juveniles by other juveniles. While she was giving a tour of the area to her subscribers, she had this to say.
Our law enforcement should really consider doing better. Not our law enforcement. The law enforcement did great. Let's not sugarcoat this. They did an amazing job out here. It's not the law enforcement. It's our judicial system.
Now, it's important to remember that part because later in her stream, she continued on about how law enforcement was not doing their jobs. But that's not the part of the clip I want you to hear. It's this part.
Judicial process. It's the bleeding hearts wanting to save children. Some children are not worth saving, and I'm sorry. That's just how I feel. Just like some dogs. Some dogs are too vicious that they have to be euthanized. And we have to take into consideration because we consider dogs animals. Human beings are animals too. We're just a different species of animals. We're all mammals. We are all this, even dogs. They have hair, they breathe oxygen, they give live birth. We are mammals. We are animals.
Thank you, Stacey.
And some of us are too vicious to live amongst the rest of us. And we need to euthanize them like we do the vicious dogs. And that's how I feel. I don't think an age changes what's in their heart, in their mind, and in their soul. I just don't believe that.
Yep, that came out of the mouth of a quote-unquote advocate. Let's take the weird analogy of humans to dogs out of it and listen to what she really said.
It's the bleeding hearts wanting to save children. Some children are not worth saving, and I'm sorry. And some of us are too vicious to live amongst the rest of us. And we need to euthanize them like we do the vicious dogs. And that's how I feel. I don't think an age changes what's in their heart, in their mind, and in their soul. I just don't believe that.
I, for one, am very thankful that the Supreme Court does not agree with Betty. This is from a legal article, and it states, while adolescents can and should be held accountable for their actions, new scientific information demonstrates that they cannot fairly be held accountable to the same extent as adults. Studies by the Harvard Medicine School, the National Institute of Mental Health, and the UCLA's Department of Neuroscience finds that the frontal and prefrontal lobes of the brain, which regulate impulse control and judgment, are not fully developed in adolescence. Development is not completed until somewhere between 18 and 22 years of age. These findings confirm that adolescents generally have a greater tendency towards impulsivity, making unsound judgments or reasoning, and are less aware of the consequences of their actions. Because of their immaturity, adolescent children are more likely to be coerced by adults and sometimes the pawns for more sophisticated criminals. They are also more likely to be taken advantage of during the investigation of a criminal case. Juveniles are often intimidated by adults and authority figures, and are therefore more likely to be the victims of coerced confessions. I can't say that word, sorry. Which are often false. Moreover, juveniles are less likely to invoke their Miranda rights, including their right to legal representation. Most importantly, the goals of the death penalty do not apply to juveniles. Retribution aims to give the harshest punishment to the worst offender. Juveniles are the most likely to be capable of rehabilitation. I want to say that again. Juveniles are the most likely to be capable of rehabilitation. Given their emotional immaturity and lessened culpability, they are not among the worst of the worst. Meanwhile, the juvenile death penalty disproportionately affects children of color, as it is subject to the same racial disparities as have been discovered throughout the use of capital punishment. Thankfully, the ruling by the Supreme Court in 2005 in Roper v. Simons changed the ruling on the death penalty for juveniles. It's my personal opinion that juveniles absolutely should be held accountable for their crimes. But if anyone stands the chance of being rehabilitated, it would be minors. As a child advocate, we should really be looking into ways that we could help the juvenile going forward. Better mental health awareness before becoming criminals, as well as better mental health awareness in the prison systems, in the juvenile prison systems, and so on. We shouldn't be so quick to snuff out a life, especially one that we might be able to save. Even if they have to spend the rest of their life in prison, it would be better spent reformed, rehabilitated, changed. And that's what we should be striving for, in my opinion. That's all for this one. I'll see you guys on the next one. Love, love.